Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the Old World. And I'm one of your hosts, Gomo. And as usual, I'm back with Andrew and Josh on another Monday night here in Ausland. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Gomo. G'day, Josh. How you going?
Yeah, not bad, guys. Not bad.
Yeah, hobbying away, I bet.
In the heat, yep.
Yeah.
Heat doesn't stop me. Especially
Nothing stops Josh.
Less than 2 weeks from CanCon too. Oh my god.
I know.
That's what I should do.
It's getting a bit like that. I will get into that with hobby, Like I'm doing a bit with those things you sent me. And I'm like, looking at the dates going, I think I'll get it done. So we'll see. Oh, cool. Well, we've got a, I don't know, it's an interesting episode in the sense that we don't, like, Andrew's going to, I guess, intro the main topic a bit later, what we're going to do. But I mean, the general vibe of it again is it's been a week now, sort of, since we've been looking at rules and probably steering a little bit into our favorite factions. So maybe we just thought we'd do another one of those chats about what we like, what we've seen, maybe just focusing on some of the ones we've looked at. But I think that's going to be the main topic. But then cover a bit of the news and a little bit of hobby because we all got games in, didn't we?
Yeah. You guys got a game in together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And I got my little slow
last night.
Last night, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Okay, well, the morning almost.
Yeah, it ended up that way, didn't
pretty
it?
late.
Always the way. Cool. Anyway, I'll do some news. There's a few little things. Okay, the first thing I wanted to talk about is, I guess now that we're starting to see rules and all that sort of stuff, people are starting to be able to play around a little bit with army construction. And so I just wanted to make sure everyone's, seeing that there's a couple of army builders popping up. Primarily, there's that new one, total open source one that, I don't know if it's a team or a group, but they've got a Discord channel. It's on GitHub, and that's old-world-builder.com. So I think, if you're in the scene, I think most people have seen that link go around. Have you guys opened that one up before and had a look at it?
Nah, I saw it being advertised, but I was pretty, for the next one that obviously you're going to talk about, I was pretty keen for that.
Yeah.
I briefly opened it, but I didn't really look at it that much.
It seems like it's a much newer one, and I mean, my gut feel is it's going to still miss some of the features that we probably like in some of the other army builds. So the other one is obviously New Recruit that I've been pushing a little bit for 6th ed. They've started to add Old World, but it's not really out. Like, you can't really use it yet. Like, if you want to run a tournament, you can select it. And they're starting to add, they are working on it as far as I know, because it's just modifying the battle scribe files. So hopefully New Recruit will have it as well. But it's always good to have a couple of options. The Old World builder is fast because it is very much a front end, like, only type of app, so it runs really quick. The downside right now, and I really hope this changes, so I'll have to actually get in contact with the dude or whatever. I did see a note on the website, something about they're not planning on like accounts and syncing like between devices, which I think is a bit of a it's pretty much a downfall, I think, of that tool if it doesn't get that. But it's so new and it's open source. Like I was saying before we hit record, people like me who are software developers could get off our butts and actually help add those features in if we really wanted to, because all the code's there, we could actually do it. So hopefully it gets support and it looks pretty cool and it's fast and stuff like that. Whereas New Recruit can be a bit slow, I find.
It is a bit slow.
Yeah, but New Recruit is at least syncs across your devices and stuff. So hopefully those two 100%. Will definitely, be up to a pretty good version 1 beta once everyone gets the books in their hand, hopefully.
The books are only 5 days away for most of the world, but for us it still feels far off.
It's painful. It's ridiculous a bit, but we can't do much about it. But I mean, like we said, hey, just think positive. In a year's time, we won't remember we got it 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's a bit frustrating. Yeah. Are you guys one of those people that get your pen and paper out and list build, or are you like me who once tech took off, I just can't build unless I've got a builder?
Yeah, I need a builder.
Yeah.
I just keep fiddling with stuff and it's just so frustrating doing it with pen and paper. I can't. I haven't done pen and paper since I was 15.
Right, okay. Well, I'm not the only one then. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's funny when somebody actually rocks up and they got like it's all written out. You're just like, oh, look, here you go.
Yeah. It's probably quicker. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad, but I just find I just can't I don't know. I just can't get my head around it. I just end up going, nah, I'll just wait. So hopefully they do. I mean, obviously, if these drag on, I'll do it. But
judging from the number of mistakes I'm seeing in the handwritten lists coming into CanCon, it's not that accurate to do it.
I was going to ask you that in terms of, is it handwritten or they're all in the actual army builder ones that got errors too? I was like wondering if, because I know the new recruit ones might, because some of the battle scribe ones are a bit dodge.
Yeah, we've only had one new recruit one. Most of them are the ones that are done by an army builder. Probably more often than not, the battle scribe.
Yeah.
And then probably, half of those again are army builder ones out of the 2.2, the old one.
Was mine the only new recruit one?
No, there's another guy who's definitely got a new recruit.
Sorry, I forgot
address.
about yours. Yeah. There was one other guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought there would have been quite a few. Oh, there you
go. But even I know the battle scribe does have a few problems, but it's still a lot more reliable than
pen and paper. Yeah.
Pen and paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know you guys. I saw your comments. Like it's like over half are wrong, which makes you, I think that's probably the case every time you play a tournament. Yeah. People aren't checking them properly.
Yeah, probably. And they're just like they're mistakes sometimes not in the player's favor. Like it's very often that it's not in their favor as well. Like they've paid for something they didn't need to pay for, or they've paid extra 10 points for something as well. So it can go either way, really. It's not like they're doing it on purpose.
No, totally. That's why I wouldn't. I mean, generally, I wouldn't care. Like if I wouldn't even know at a tournament. Like I don't know enough about everyone else's army, so I couldn't look at it and go, "Hang on, you can't do that." Or you've ripped yourself off there. Like, that's cool. Well, hopefully, I mean, if nothing else, like you can just see. We've talked about this before, but like there's so much positivity around the old world that everyone's just pitching in, I think. That probably actually goes to the next topic. Sort of, I had a shout out that I had to do. This is Australia sort of specific, but like Angus, like ASB, he has set up a a Facebook group called Australia Warhammer Old World Tournaments. He's basically wanting to sort of get that shout out there that if you're not in that group as well, he's going to have a calendar on there of all the Australian tournaments. So that way, everyone knows what's happening. And I think there's already one or two that are popping in there as little one-dayers in March or April or something. So if you are from Australia and you care about that, obviously search for Warhammer Old World Tournaments in Australia and you'll get the group. I think it's open, like you just obviously got to just click join. And we'll probably have Angus on in the next week or so around CanCon and stuff and just chat. He's going to come on actually around some old world stuff. So I'm sure he'll give us some more info on that one as well. And we've got we started the Warhammer Fantasy, the Old World Australia group before Warhammer Fantasy renamed to Warhammer Fantasy and Old World. But everyone's joining ours as well. So it's good to have like a smaller group. I don't know.
Yeah.
We were thinking about closing it last year and then we went, well, why not? Like now it's up to 600 people and I don't know. It's like a little bit, I feel like everyone on there is contributing at the moment because it's not massive. Yep. So it's kind of fun. And I just thought, let's just leave it for a bit and see what happens. And not trying to take anything from the other groups. I'm on there as well and I post stuff in all of them. So no, it's been really good. Cool. Have you guys got anything else? I did see one little tidbit in the email that went round for the weekly Warhammer community email. Did you guys see that?
I saw somebody repost it, yeah.
Yeah,
I've not heard of this.
Oh, you didn't see it? Yeah, I missed it on first read of it because I always read it in bed when I wake up and then later on I checked it because I always remember I should check the last paragraph because they give you what they're doing that week. They've got the Las Vegas Open reveals, but I'm pretty sure there's no Old World in that because they already said what's coming and they didn't list Old World. But they did say that we have a reveal for the Old World, which will make fans of certain vintage see stars. So I'm not sure. I don't even know what that, like, what do you reckon that means, see stars? Unless it's not Blood Bowl, is it? Old World, like, star players better not be. I don't know. Stars.
Well, it says the Old World. So, I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, maybe Blood Bowl with the... surely not.
Nah, surely not. They already did some Blood Bowl the other week, so who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think I think that's just going to be a reveal on Warhammer Community on the website because I'm pretty sure I saw that Las Vegas Open reveal wasn't having Old World, but who knows? wouldn't be the first time that's confusing.
Mm.
Is it going to be a play on the name of a unit? Like, I don't know, like in terms of the stars pun? Like, the other way I can think of is like Sisters of Twilight.
Yeah.
Something stupid like that.
Yeah. A new Star Dragon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Star Dragon.
I don't know. Yeah. But it says of a certain vintage. They pick their words to do stuff. So I don't know. They're clever. It'll be something. But at least I reckon we're going to see Old World every couple of weeks or every few weeks. I reckon just dropping little things here and there, and it won't always be a massive new miniature or anything. But I think they're going to have to drop stuff to just get stuff out. Like if they're going to try
keep
and
the momentum and
get most stuff out in the next couple of years, even just out of the 9 factions. Like I don't know how. Like if they do it too slow, it'll take too long. So
yeah.
I think they'll put stuff out regularly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was funny seeing the frequency of the articles ease off after that pre-order. By the way, like I almost got used to that rapid pace of stuff, like just machine gunning out articles. And then I look back like the other day at the Old World section, and it's like, oh, there's been no article. There's only like one in like 8 days. What happened?
Yeah. It was a big climax there. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's all transitioned to YouTube. That's the problem. Like I have so many bloody videos on YouTube to watch.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, especially us who don't have, we're not going to get the books straight away and all that. It's hard to keep up somehow. So.
Yeah, I know. Which takes a little more time. I don't know. I much prefer just to be read stuff than having to load a video to to digest it. And or just ideally have the book.
No,
the book would be great.
Yeah, like if you've got the book, you can do it at your own pace, and because those the YouTubers are good, but they're obviously deliberately not showing everything because they can't, and then you don't want to be they're going to look at what they're interested in, and like sometimes you just want to
Yeah.
So,
and to be honest, like if it was up to me and I wasn't like podcasting right now, I probably wouldn't even watch any of them. I'd just be waiting for the book to come, and I'd be like, the first time I saw the rules, I'd be like, I can open this pristine new book and see what's in there. Yeah. That'd be what I'd be like, delayed gratification junkie in that regard.
Well, we had that ethical dilemma last week a bit, didn't we? We talked about it because I agree. I'm like, and I've started to look anyway. You're right, only because we're doing this. I feel like we need to know what's happening. We want to know, but it is taking away that, opening the book and experiencing it for the first time, which is a bit annoying. It's frustrating that we've, had to do that. I mean, I like that Games Workshop gives some people access and stuff, but I just feel like, you see it all before you even get it now these days, which is a bit annoying.
It's out of devotion. Devotion to the podcasts. We're taking our responsibility seriously.
We have to now. We're paid.
I'll be devil's advocate on that because for me personally, like I was that kid at Christmas shaking the presents and tearing the corner, trying to work out what I'm getting for Christmas of the wrapping paper.
I never shook them.
Nah, I've got to get everything I can. Like I need it as soon as I know something's coming out.
You want it now?
I can't wait. Yeah, I've got to. I need that to know. It's too much temptation. So I've been watching everything I can and listening to everything I can. Just in that regard.
It sounds like later on in the segments where we're talking about factions, it sounds like yours can be much more in depth than
I think so. Yeah, I've looked at a bit, but then I'm going, I don't know. Yeah,
I'll get the book. I won't even need to read it. And finally, it'll be pick it up. I'll just put it in the shelf.
It's so funny if they leak like wrong copies of stuff just to see people just go off their mind when they get the book. They're like, what? This is not what it said. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, I've said everything about it, I guess I'm going to say. Anyway, cool. No, that's going to be good. So do you want to chat a little bit about hobby then, and then we'll get on to that main topic, I guess?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, fair enough. Do you want me to go first?
Josh, you're the hobby master. So.
It'll all go downhill, and I'll be at the end.
Man,
Joshua says so much.
I've had a lot on my plate, guys, really, with everything that's been going on at the moment, because I just feel like all my free time is devoted to Warhammer. Like, it's just everything. So, because, one of my priorities was trying to get the painting for the slow grow done, so I got those cold one nights done. I've actually got up and done my fiend and most of the shades done as well, because I was actually planning on taking them to CanCon for the doubles one.
Oh, yep.
So I got those done pretty much.
Someone's alarm's gone off.
And then had the slow grow meetup yesterday. So yeah, that was fun. I think it was 10 people, including me actually. So yeah, it was reasonable numbers again. Mostly the same. I think there was one guy that came that hadn't come before, but everyone else pretty much had been.
Are they getting longer, like, or do you go on basically the same time frame, like in terms of getting there, set up, pull down?
I think this one, similar time frame. I mean, this one went for a little bit longer because there was 2 guys that played a second game with someone else. So they cracked through it. But even them playing 2 games, they still finished by like 1:30, between 10:30 and 1:30. So
good. Yeah,
800 points. It's still not going much longer than the other smaller games, because you still only got like 4 or 5 units.
Yeah.
Or so, but it's just big enough that you're getting an enjoyable game. Did you want me to go through the actual battle I did, or should I do that later on?
Oh, I can do it now. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
I can briefly go over it.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Lockie with his high elves, very bow heavy high elves. I think he had. What did he have? He had Illyrian Reavers with bows, and I can't remember if given the spears or not. But yeah, he had a unit of Sea Guard, a unit of 10 Shadow Warriors, and 10 Archers.
Yeah, right.
And a level 2 mage, who I think had Seer, and something else that gave me an extra power dice or something like that.
Yeah.
We're playing the scenario, by the way, that it was like the monolith from last time was broken during the battle, and so the winds of magic were all going crazy. So at the start of each magic phase, each player rolled a dice, and if you get a 4 up, you get an extra power or dispel dice. And every miscast is an irresistible force as well as a miscast, and every irresistible force is also a miscast, like 8th edition sort of style. And then I think you just roll a dice. From turn 4 onwards, you just roll a dice. If you get a 6, then the magic is calmed and it's back to normal after that. Otherwise, it's like a pitched battle. I was taking my cold ones in there, so that's my essentially my list is the same as previously. So I was just a devoted, some repeater crossbows, level 2 mage on the Slanesh Law. I gave it an extra +1 dice this time for power dice, and then the 5 cold one knights. And essentially what happened was like there was a big piece of impassable terrain in the middle of the board. I basically ended up having most of my army on one flank, and I ended up with the devoted out on sort of the other side by themselves, which is not ideal, but that's sort of how it played out. They were across from the Shadow Warriors, the devoted, and then the rest of his army, so the Sea Guard, Illyrian Reavers, and the Archers were pretty much facing directly across from the Cold One Knights, the mounted demonettes, and the repeater crossbows. And he blasted off the demonettes in the first turn with Fury of Cain. Again,
oh god, that is a crazy spell. Especially at that size. Oh god.
Yes, second month in a row where they just disintegrated from magic in the first turn.
Yeah.
This time, I got a bit of bad luck with it going off, because I think he managed to get because he got 2 spells. He had Curse of Arrow Attraction and he had Fury of Cain and Drain Magic. And he actually cast the Curse of Arrow Attraction on that unit quite high, and I was just like, I've only got 3 dice. I'll try and dispel Fury of Cain. So I let that go through. I think he got.
I hate that.
Then he used, I think, 2 dice to get Fury of Cain on a 9 or something, and I used 3 dice and I rolled 2 1s and a 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap. Like, damn it. It's so annoying. So then they exploded, but then also meant that, the Curse of Arrow Attraction, I guess, didn't really matter in the end because that unit had been deleted.
Yeah.
And then basically what happened after that was he moved up, I moved forward, and then I actually got, because my 2 spells, which were my favorite spells, by the way. So I got the Titillating Delusions, which is the movement spell that have to move towards a marker. And I got Luxurious Torment this time for the first time, which is the one where you can cast Frenzy on either a friendly or enemy unit.
Right.
Yeah,
And they also take D6 strength 3 hits at the end of each player's turn. These are the two spells that drew me to Laura Slanesh, to be honest, because you can have so much fun with them. Because what I did was I actually moved the cold ones up, put them on an angle so they were sort of in line to charge the Sea Guard.
Yeah.
And then I cast Frenzy on the Illyrian Reavers, and I got Frenzy off on them. And they were forced to charge into my Cold One Knights.
The cold ones. Yeah.
Now, it's a slight risk because, they got an extra attack, strength 4 going in. But I think I took off one with the repeated bolt throwers that turn, and then the Frenzy spell, because it does D6 strength 3 hits. I think he rolled a 6, so it killed another 2. So they were down to 2 at that point when they charged a cold one. So then they disintegrated, basically, and, and then the following turn, the cold ones just charged right into the Sea Guard. Then I got the Titillation Illusion spell off on the archers and sent them heading towards the flank, just like completely now out of line of sight of anything useful.
That's funny.
So yeah, that was I was having a lot of fun with those spells. On the other flank, the Devoted really, they were not in a good matchup against the Shadow Warriors, I must admit, because the Shadow Warriors, they're skirmishing, shooting. I'm never going to be able to necessarily catch them.
Yeah.
It played out that he let me get him though. So basically, he was shooting me off. He killed off 2 one turn. I think he nailed 4 the next turn. There was 12 to start with, by the way. So he's killed 2 and then 4, and then I had a few left. I think I ended up being whittled down to 2, and then I think he stayed still and was just shooting me without having a movement penalty. So then I charged him in, and I got 2 of them in. There was 2 left standing out of 12 after all his bow shots. But he probably shouldn't have let me do that. He should have just kept kiting me, really, because those 2 have 7 attacks. Only strength 3, but against elves, they're just still wounds. So they killed 3 or 4 on the charge. No, 3 it was, because he had one guy strike back, but he didn't do a wound. And they ended up winning combat. I ran them down.
Wow.
Ran the whole unit down. The whole unit 10 with two Devoted girls. Yeah, they're crazy.
It's insane.
It's insane.
So 7 attacks each.
No, in total. It was 4 with the champ and 3 with the other, with the Sand and Bearer. That was the other 2 I had left. But I won combat by 4.
Yeah.
It was insane. I was not expecting that to happen, really. But it's just how dangerous they can be when they get to strike. Especially against toughness 3 things with not much armor. Yeah. Even just a couple of them can really nail them. So it ended up being so basically, I cleared the Illyrian Reavers with a Frenzy. I tried to cast Frenzy on the cold ones when they charged the Sea Guard, because the Frenzy spell on the cold ones works really well, because you D6 strength 3 hits, right? But because of 2-up armor save, it's
minimal.
A lot safer, and the benefits really
and
outweigh the risk.
4. Are they?
No.
Oh, they're not.
Tough 4.
Oh,
no,
okay.
this is what annoys me, Colin. So in 6 Ed, they are tough 4 on the mount line, but apparently use the rider's toughness. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that's how I looked it up.
No, I have no idea.
It's the rider's toughness. So they're tough 4. They're tough 3, which is slightly disappointing.
Yeah,
and
then
then
top save. Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, apparently in 7th edition, the Frenzy affects the mounts as well as the riders, but in 6th ed it only affects the riders.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not getting, double attacks from the cold ones. You're still getting stupidity effects. So it's like, not quite as good a combo as I thought it might have been once I looked into the rules a bit more deeply. But still worth it, I would feel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They like to cast Frenzy on an enemy. They charge you wipe them out, then you charge it back, cast it on yourself. You go Frenzy and then kill another unit.
That's right. That's funny. It's a lot of fun, because I just feel like I can draw out, flyers and fast cav and just force them to come into me, or even using the illusion spell as well. It just gives you a lot of control in the movement phase, which I just love the concept of being able to do. But yeah, anyway, so I did end up winning that one pretty handsomely in the end.
Cool. Did you? Are you seeing anyone? Like, how's the old world affecting those guys in terms of, have they started has there been any chats around them adjusting anything in their army into the base sizing or anything like that, or they're just all, committed to build up to the 2K?
I think there's a couple of guys that that have just put them on temporary bases for 6th Ed, and they're intending to rebase for the Old World. Others are talking about, just doing adapters, and I think most of them probably will use adaptive movement trays for it. But talking to them today, like, it sounds like they for now, they were just going to keep playing for the slow grow at least. Just continue doing 6th Ed. Because it's it still gives it, like, it's a different rule set, but for people that enjoy 6th Ed, it gives you the same. It scratches the same itch, really.
Same flavor.
So I have same flavor. So I've got no particular problem.
I was saying this to Andrew yesterday. Like, I think it's been very beneficial for us playing 6th. I think going to Old World. I mean, obviously we don't overly know yet because we haven't done it, but it does feel like it's more like 6th in that sense. So therefore, it's almost like a continuation on from that.
It does, doesn't it? I feel like it's a bigger transition to go from 8th to the Old World.
Except for the model selection, obviously, there's a lot of obviously the monstrous cav and all that stuff. That
and a lot of the army books lists do seem to be more reminiscent of 8th as well. But we'll get to
the
that.
Points and
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, that sounds good.
So that was yesterday. So, man, so I've got a lot going on play because I was running the slow grow, got all this CanCon stuff going on. Podcast material for plan for that as well. Oh my god! So the CanCon prep was probably what I spent most of my hobby time doing, really, and that was like getting some more carts printed, getting them cured, and I finally had time to prime them up and do all the basing today. I've also been doing the carriages for the doubles as well because we got little princess carriages, and I've been printing off some horses for them, and I found a goblin with a whip from I think it was a chariot that got scanned from the Total War STL or something like that. Cool. But I stuck him on the front of the carriage as like a coachman. So I've done pretty much most of the prime I need to do it, so I'm going to get cracking on.
Awesome,
getting all that painted up.
How many carriages have you got to do for carts and carriages? Then that you have to get painted.
Probably it's going to be 12 or 14, I think. Depending on how many. Because with the carriages, it depends on how many tables I end up doing. Because we've got 7 signed up, and then Patty and I were keen to play as well. So it's kind of like we're probably only going to have 2 tables, I think, unless someone else or a couple other people sign up at the last minute, and then we might have a 3rd table. So I'm kind of trying to prep for just in case of that eventuality, or if people sign up at the last minute kind of thing. But I wouldn't want to have to do any more than 6. It's just too much work.
Cool.
And then going through all the lists as well, man.
Yeah, how many do you reckon you guys are through? Like half now?
Patty went through and did a whole lot of approvals today. So we've got most of them. I think we're still waiting on a few lists. Actually, I think there's like 10 lists or so that we're still sort of waiting for. And given it's only what is it? Is it even 10 days away? It was 9 days.
Well, it's the Friday next week.
So we're pretty much from this day onwards, every day that they're late by have to have a penalty of 1 victory point because.
So when was the cutoff? The 12th?
12th or something. Yeah. Well, it got pushed back a little bit. Maybe did it? Did you guys give it a bit of grace?
Well, sort of.
Okay.
There was. I think there's a bit of
12th,
confusion about that because in the pack it does say 14th.
Patty
wrote the 12th. So the 14th was the deadline.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Do you want to go, Andrew, or do you want me, or what do you want to do? Did you do anything other than the?
Game? Well, I was getting my stuff ready for the battle, obviously, and prep for this actually got me a little bit excited. So I went hunting. And I found some stuff, but nothing painted. But I've found half of, I don't know where the other half is. This is the problem.
When you say hunting, is this on eBay or is this in your own collection?
No. This is my collection.
Okay.
This is the most unorganized collection you've ever seen. I got this, cobweb covered boxes, and you open the box and there's just more boxes. nothing's in order. It's like if you had somebody who was like OCD, like they'd be having an anxiety attack trying to go through all my stuff. So anyway, I've found the dwarf lord and shield bearers.
Yep.
So I've got the shield, I've got the dwarf, I don't have the axe, and then I've got the
two dudes holding it.
Yeah. So I don't have any base for it either. So just that, the axe missing sort of doing my head in. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
If you need that, I've got one, and so maybe you can use a bit of my one, and then when you find yours, you can give me the axe back because I'm not using mine anytime soon.
Well, the rumor, the true rumor,
I heard about this,
the trumor, there's 3 bearers of the shield bearers. So everybody's sort of thinking that there's a
new figure coming.
Yeah, a new model coming out.
Because it's on a 50 by 50, isn't it?
Yeah, much bigger base. Well, the old one was taking up 2 slots, so that was obviously 40 by 20. But he's got some, and I'll get into this. It's got some pretty tasty stats.
I'd imagine the bloody dwarf looked good when I was skimming a few videos.
Yeah. So they're not too bad. So
it's interesting. Yeah, you sounded pretty jealous of the Duke stats the other week. So interesting to hear how good the Thane is.
Wow, he's still only got 3 wounds. Not like the Duke. Whatever he's got. Hasn't he got 4?
Does. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Duke. No, it's crazy.
I'm still jealous about the Duke.
We'll get into the stats.
Yeah,
so
we're going to cover that in the main. We'll cover that in the main
tuned, everyone.
Topic.
Stay tuned, listeners. You'll hear all about it.
Have we got a game in though? That was part of your hobby time.
Yeah. Well, we can. Do you want to go Gummo, and then we'll hit that?
Okay. Yeah, we'll just do a quick. Yeah, okay. Yep, let's do that. So I did that, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then my rest of mine was mostly CanConny stuff as well. So and I think I'll end up sharing more pics. I did share. If you're a Patreon, it's a bit of a plug. If you're one of 8 lucky Patreon people that we've already got, and they're a bit lonely, they want more friends in there. So
last time I looked, there was 7. How is that?
Yeah, we've got a new one from Hong Kong.
Fantastic guys.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, I
international
shared, and they even said they're very lonely. They need more people in there, but no, they didn't. But I shared some pics of these carts that Patty did that I'm painting up in there. But I probably should check with her if I can share it globally, which I think I can. But I'll check with her.
I'm sure
I painted up one, and I'm based and undercoated and started on the others. So hopefully I'll get them done this week. I was hoping to get them done over the weekend, but then Andrew playing and I went karaoke on Saturday night, so I never got around to doing it. So I'll get them done this week. But they look awesome. They're just so fun.
Yeah, they do.
So,
they're good.
I'm sure that Patty'd be happy with. I mean, we've got to check with her. But she was saying something about she was thinking about doing setting up an STL store at some stage. I'm sure she'd have with the publicity.
I don't think it's so much. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a surprise for the people at CanCon. So that's
for the
tournament. I wanted to check. But I think it's fine. But I'll check with that.
I think it just cause excitement. So that's fine.
Yeah. So I'll post them up, and then they're cool. And then I put one of those scorpions together for the game that me and Andrew played. But at this rate, I might only get the one done, and I've actually put him on a 75 by 50, and I'm going to mark on the base where his 50 by 50 is because there's no use basing him on 50 by 50 if I'm going to pull it straight back off again.
Yeah.
So hopefully no one cares about that. And in every game that I've used 3 scorpions, one's always dead before the other one comes up anyway, so I probably don't need 2. So
spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then for the people watching YouTube, I will just share my screen. This is my anal retentiveness. Where is this window over here? I've talked to you guys about this, but I don't know what I've always found that when I've gone to a tournament, if they don't have table numbers and stuff, it's a bit annoying. Like everyone's sort of saying, "Oh, this is table 1," and then it goes down, and then half the second game you forget where it's at, and everyone's wandering around.
Yeah, that definitely happened at Castle Assault last year, by the way.
I know
that was chaos.
It was chaos, yeah. And so I wanted to do something a bit different. And the other thing I really love is like that 6th edition, which is that Warhammer. What's it called? Warhammer Fantasy. What's the app? 6th edition. It's got an 8th version as well. Let me open this up. what's the actual website? Warhammer WHFP.app. So Warhammer app, but it's got 6. They've got an 8th. I'm assuming they'll have an old world. So what I wanted to do is I've created these stickers. So when you look, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But if not, for the podcasters, listeners, each table's going to have a sticker on there with their table number and a QR code and graphics of CanCon and all that sort of stuff. And it's basically they can scan it, and not only can you obviously see the table number you're on, but that app opens up to a link tree with all the pivotable links. And so what I've got in there is the first one, which is shaking as your tournament scoring and all that. So we'll run that through New Relic. So you just go click on there, see which table you're at, put your scores in or whatever. The players pack's on there. So therefore, if you need to know up to what I was actually going to do, Andrew and Josh, is probably put a link up there each round, which has the current scenario. You just click on it, go straight in, just in case people have, but game 4, you've lost the bloody sheet and straight into the right scenario.
Right, so you could change it on the fly.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That'd be good.
That is so
crazy.
And then there's the link to the 6th edition rules as well. So that way, what I'm trying to do here is make it so Josh and Patty are not getting bombarded with bull crap questions that people can sort themselves out. So scan the code, sort it out. And then I put our sponsors. So we've got Greenskin Games, Emerald Hobbies, Proxy Wargaming, and the Polymath Tabletop. So, and I gave them a little bit more of a fancy look because they're obviously supporting CanCon. So, but this type of, I don't know, it's not techie, but it's a little bit techie. I think if the tournaments sort of adopt some of this stuff, I think it just may make it way easier to run them, So
100%. That is gold. That is software engineering gold right there.
Yeah, that's right. So hopefully it works. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's what I did this week. And then obviously we got some sponsor stuff in. Actually, did I say that last week? We got the big box that we're going to raffle off. Was that last week?
I think you mentioned it last week.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's there.
The surprise.
Yeah, and we'll have all that sorted hopefully by next week. There's a few other things I want to sort out, and obviously paint, and then we're ready to go. So, but anyway, we got a game in. What do you want to? We're not going to spoil it totally, are we, Andrew? We won't go through it because it is up on YouTube already.
It is.
I got it up there.
Yeah. And I went through it today, and Goma did a fantastic edit, and he's got his new mics.
Yeah, they worked well.
Yeah, it was really good.
So
it's only 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to cut it down a little bit because it's a bit long, but at the same time, I don't know. It went pretty. I don't know. You can skip bits, if you.
It was a quality 45 minutes. It wasn't just... Yeah. I thought
it wasn't too bad. Okay, cool.
It wasn't too quick. It wasn't too long.
Yeah, was it similar to the previous one, or was it more active?
Well, it was a bit longer because the last one only went 17 minutes or something. That's because it was literally just recording the turn, each turn, a post wrap-up. Yeah. But what we did is we did mostly movement magic and then had a talk and then either rolled live shooting or hand-to-hand or maybe rolled the shooting and then quickly cut back after we did some hand-to-hand and sort of said what happened. So we probably were doing 2 recordings, maybe 3 sometimes per person's turn. Yeah.
So more for the particularly crucial combats or key elements of the game.
Everyone likes seeing a few dice rolls in a background.
Yeah, especially when one of the particular dice rolls was it was good, even though you'll see. I think we definitely hit the red limiter on the audio then when we went whoa.
Okay.
So Oh
man, I gotta watch this. This sounds great.
It was good. It was good.
Nah, but I think we're all the result. Without killing anything. It was a definite result for someone, but I still think. I think the lists are okay. So, I think CanCon... Yeah, there's so many spoilers. But, I think the CanCon lists, I think they'll go fine. I think both people, we'll both have hopefully some success at CanCon. Obviously, we said we're not trying to podium here. We're just trying to win a couple of games, So
competitive lists that are got a bit of fluffy fun to them without being...
OP and stuff.
Destroying somebody's day. Yeah.
And for my list, I just like playing it and it's easy. I won't have to think about it too much. The magic's easy. It's a bit relentless, but it's easy for me because I just have to not think about it and just roll. So
yeah. And I scaled my magic back quite heavily, so that's a lot easier for me as well.
Yeah,
just good.
But check it out. Yeah, it's definitely. We'd love views on that. The subscriber count went up, so big thanks to the listeners. I think we're well on our way to hit that number that I want to hit, which I was talking about last week. So we're getting up there. And then, just let us know if you do listen to it, what you think of the audio and the setup and all that sort of stuff. Because I think, Josh, we can do some live streaming and have you hearing and seeing as well. Because I think I've worked that out.
Sick. Yeah.
I
love that.
So we'll have to try that one as well.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like having multiple parties watching and commenting on it would be a lot of fun.
It'd be funny. We probably wouldn't battle report that one then. We'd just do it as a live stream. It'd go for like 4 hours, but that'd be fun.
It would have to be a full live stream. Yeah.
No, that'd be cool. Do that. Yeah.
Otherwise,
anything you wanted to add around the game, Andrew? Without because I didn't know you was going into it since people can watch it.
No. Well, definitely, it's definitely worth a watch. It's not too long. It's pretty bit of fun, and we're talking about possibly maybe Josh can get in the future the Victorian studio online.
The Victorian studio.
Totally, definitely.
At some stage, yeah. Once you've got the setup going, I can just copy whatever it is that you've done. Then I'll just I'm happy to do it.
Your terrain will look better. I'll have to get my terrain up. My terrain's okay, but I want some buildings. I need to get some buildings happening.
Yeah. So. No, I can. Yeah, I could probably set that up at some point. Nick Gentile, by the way.
Yeah.
Short from
he's back. He's stopped Marvel.
He's painting up some high elves. He's on board.
Did he get rid of his other ones?
No, I think he still has them.
Okay.
But he's just like wants a whole new thing. But
cool.
He's pretty exciting. So he and I could well have a game at some stage once we get our hands on the rules.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. That'd be great. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's lots of Dwellers is back. So they're back. They've got 2 episodes up. It's like old times now. It's feeling like total 2008, 2009 again. So it's good.
Just a bit grayer, a bit less hair.
Oh yeah, got nothing left. Yeah, that's what it does. That's what kids do to you. But anyway,
that's why I got my hair slicked back. There's this big bald.
Awesome. Okay, well, Andrew, what are we going to chat about?
Old World. So, sorry. I got to read this. I wrote this down, guys. My memory's not very good. Yeah, so the 3 of us are going to be giving our listeners a bit of a Old World rules preview. Ooh. So we're just going to be discussing our favourite armies from, obviously, the new Forces of Fantasy, Ravening Hordes, and Arcane Journal book releases. We all had a bit of a review of our favourite armies from the Old World, and we're just going to give a bit of a quick rundown on the winners and losers, and just if we think that's going to be changing the play styles. So I was going to do dwarfs. Josh is going to hit Bretonians, which is good because he's got the Arcane Journals as part of that, and then Goblin was obviously going to be hitting the Tomb Kings. Yeah,
look at some Tomb Kings. Yep. I mean, I'm not as in depth as you by any means, but there was a few things that definitely need some investigation. That's what I want to look at. So they're good. Yep. Good changes and a few bad ones, but that's okay.
Did you want me to kick off?
Yeah, might as well.
All right, I've got my tasty notes here. I've been going maybe investigating the last probably week or so. A lot of these previews are coming out, and there's quite a bit of information out there. So it's pretty good. If you're someone like me, like what Josh said before, he doesn't want to spoil it too much, but I've been jumping pretty in depth and not planned armies as such, but I've been gearing up to see, what's good, what's not, from my point of view, my play style. The big thing to note, starting off, is the King Anvil Rune Lord is just 1 per 1,000 points. So the Anvil now is going to be a take instead of a Lord if you're doing an under 2,000 point game. So we're going to have
one or the other, basically.
Yeah. So that's a big thing where else, like, obviously the Anvil used to kind of be like a war machine or something that you could take in addition to your Lord or your Rune Lord. But saying that, the Anvil is pretty tough. We'll hit that later on. Something I'm really loving is core choices. So all your core choices are standard. If I don't talk about it, it's pretty much a standard from what it was in a 6/8 realm. The books didn't change a hell of a lot, obviously, for core. So Rangers now are a 0-1 choice, which is fantastic because the Rangers are actually a pretty good unit now. And it just gives you a bit more flexibility from the standard Warriors, Longbeards, Quarrelers, Thunderers. So I'm really liking that. If you do bring a King...
What do they do again? So they like are they the
so they're skirmishing scout.
Yeah, scout. Okay, yeah.
Scouts, and they're skirmishing now, which is really, really good. And I'll touch on them later. What else they do? Longbeard. So if you bring a King along, you can get Longbeards coming as core 0-1. Special. You can get 0-1 hammers per King or Thane. You're usually always going to have at least a Thane, so you can bring those along. 0-3 War Machines for your special. They're just going to be Cannon Bolt Thrower and Grudge Thrower, just stock standard. And then your rares are coming in as your Rangers, Iron Drakes, Gyro Bombers, and Organ Guns, Flame Cannons are going to be 0-2 choice. So you still got like Iron Breakers in as your special as well. Your mercenaries are going to be 20%, and your allies are something that's pretty cool in a sense. So your armies of infamy of the dwarves, you can take 25% of that as allies for your grand army. So I'm thinking your army of infamy might have access to these,
like the Slayer one or whatever, something like that, or those type of things. Yeah. So I think I got that wrong when we were chatting like 2-3 episodes ago, where I thought allies were going to be always someone else. Is that mercenaries more, and allies are always infamy?
Well, it's infamy. Well, for us, Empire, Bretts are.
Okay, so you can bring Empire and stuff as well. Yeah. Cool.
Bretts are uneasy, and High Elves are suspicious.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
So that's pretty cool that you got obviously access to your armies of infamy.
Yeah. Do we really know what mercenaries are then, or am I just totally behind?
It's been really quiet. It's been really, really quiet.
So basically, allies are the Matrix plus your own other armies of infamy. Okay, that's what was confusing me. Okay.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear on Mercs as well. I think that's kind of like the big unknown.
Okay.
Special rules. The cool things is Gromwell armor now is re-rolling ones for a failed armor save. Who doesn't love a re-roll? I love a re-roll. Especially, when you just got heaps of ones. You just
I know a lot about
that. The Gromwell weapons is -1. So it's just armor piercing 1. But you can't inscribe like runes into it. Otherwise it gets rid of that. So so all your characters get that, but as soon as you start throwing stuff on it, loses that armor piercing. And it's only for a single hand weapon, so it's not for
Troll Slayer's paired weapons or something.
So if you get paired weapons, it negates that. So runes, something that's pretty cool is your great weapons can be inscribed with runes, which wasn't all of So you used to have to take a rune to make it a runic weapon. So that's pretty big, I thought.
Yeah, I think it is.
The other good thing, I didn't go through all the runes. There's 50 odd runes. So I've just picked a couple that I liked. So there's a runic weapon that gives -1 to hit, which I thought was going to be really good for the Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayers aren't defensive, and now you've got a tough 5 character that's going to be -1 to hit. I thought that was really cool for a weapon rune. The other one I thought was really cool is the Master Rune of Adamant. It's 100 points. It's pretty much going to take up your whole rune allowance, but it makes your toughness 10. So
just walk in the middle of those Empire people and they can't hurt you.
Well, I'll hit some of these other combos soon, and then you'll see why that could be a bit of a pain, being somebody toughness 10. And the dwarves, so there's no dispel scroll, but they get the Rune of Spell breaking, which is effectively a dispel scroll for dwarves. And up to 3 can be taken for your runic allowance. So that's pretty, pretty good when it comes to anti-magic for dwarves. Across the board, dwarves are pretty much magical resistance 1 as well. So they're
so what does that mean? The magic resistance? It means you get.
I think it's -1.
+1
to cast.
Whichever way it is.
Yeah. Sorry, +1.
Or is it a +1 to your dispel if you cast at the magic res? Or is it just when I'm trying to cast?
Yeah, when you're trying to cast, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's what I read was it's going to be a +1 for you guys too. So Dwarf Lords, I'll go through some of the units that I think are pretty cool. So Ancestral Grudge makes your characters hate all enemy characters. So not
that's
just one.
It's not a roll anymore or anything like that. You just
all characters.
So you're re-rolling. Hatred's only first round of combat still?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's pretty cool. If you're going to be out there character hunting, automatic hatred. So that's pretty cool. And if you're in a unit of hammers and longbeards, they gain that while you're part of the unit.
Oh wow! But just for enemy characters as such.
Yeah. Which is because if you're in a challenge, it's probably not to mean a whole heap, but it's something that's kind of cool. But you got to be in that.
Do champions count? Do you think?
Ooh, unsure.
But
if they do, that could be a bit of a buff. So the king is got 125 points of runes, so it gives him a bit of options. No, sorry, he's 125 points. And his shield bearer, the shield bearers that we're talking about before, they're 60 points, and it gives him +3 wounds. So he's going to be 6 wounds. So just imagining a toughness 10 per se, 6 wounds, rocking Grommel armor. We'll have
So how much does that all add up to when you do that?
It's going to be expensive, but it'll be a tank.
Yeah, that's a tank. Yeah, sounds suddenly my 4 wound Duke that really sounds quite feeble.
The problem is once you make that, it's not super offensive, but you're going to take your great weapon in there, and he gets 3 extra attacks from his shield bearers and whatnot. So, but there's,
incredible.
I mean, even without the toughness 10, because that's 100 points. Obviously, I was just spitballing, but you can make this real tough guy. But there's a lot of flavor you could add there. I could see these shield bearers just coming in a lot. And the other thing with the shield bearers, Thanes can get them to access. So you can have these Thanes rocking them as well, which is pretty cool because Thanes have got 2 wounds. So if you were
going to 5 wounds then with a Thane,
and if you're going to be rocking like an anvil as your lord choice, then obviously you're going to probably have a Thane in there as well. But we'll see how that goes. So the Anvil of Doom, it's not super cheap. It's coming in at like 235 points. Can't move. It can pivot.
Can it follow up?
It can.
Yeah, that's the same as the casket then. That's funny.
It's got lots of caveats to its movement. So stuff like that,
yeah.
But basically it's not supposed to really move, but it can follow up. So it's got 100 points of runes. It's unbreakable. It's got a 4-up save, 5-up ward. It's tough 5, 4 wounds. So it's not too shabby, just sitting there. So you have to kind of place it up. But most of the stuff it's firing out is kind of like a 20, 24-inch range, somewhere in that sphere. Strike the runes. I won't go through all the spells, but it's kind of got a magic missile, which is pretty cool. Strength 4, -2 AP. It's got like a movement one. There's one gives you, it's like ignore panic, pretty much like in a big bubble. So there was another one, I forget what an armor save. And they've got like levels as well. So there's kind of like the lower level and the higher tier. So it depends on what you cast. So the one that gives you like the armor save, I think like you get +1 to armor save, and then like the higher level might be like re-rolls or re-roll ones or something.
It doesn't
like
give you a ward at all in it. It's just always just an armor save.
Just armor save. It's pretty cool. I think you'll see that quite a bit. The only problem is you've got, obviously, you can't take a Lord level character with it, which, anyway. So yeah, you've got the Slayers of Legend. So they're your old Demon Slayer, Dragon Slayer. So Demon Slayer's coming at 130 points, Dragon's coming at 70 points. So they're still pretty expensive. Your Demon Slayer gets 25 points of talismans now, which is pretty good because having that 25 points of talismans means it lets you have something defensive. Basically, what it can give you, because I've looked it up through the runes, it's a 2+ ward against your first wound suffered. So it's almost like just giving him an extra wound to a certain degree.
Yep.
83% of the time or whatever the mathematics is. And the Dragon Slayer is pretty unchanged, so he doesn't get the talisman. He just gets weapon runes. The Demon Slayer is pretty good, so he's got like D3 wounds against Warp Spawn, which is kind of going to be your demons, I'm guessing, and your behemoths. Where else your Dragon Slayer is only D3 against behemoths. I've just got a feeling that there's going to be a lot of big monsters getting around and big characters in this edition. So this guy might be pretty. You might see him a bit more. You didn't used to see Dragon and Demon Slayers that much in the past. So hopefully in this edition you might see a few more kicking around because I've definitely got a few painted up, ready to go. Engineers pretty much unchanged. With his does the same sort of engineer stuff. He does have a lookout, sir, but if he's like within a near a war machine, which is pretty cool. So the wound goes on the same
sort of thing, like the 3-inch rule or whatever it was for him.
Something,
and he can make reroll stuff. 50 points on it, isn't he, or something like that?
Oh yeah, I'm not sure with that. But yeah, it's. I didn't look too much into it. I had a basic read, but yeah, he's got the standback chief, which is basically the wound goes onto the hit. Sorry, goes onto the war machine. So he's a lot more survivable from shooting. Dwarf warriors start hitting the core guys. They're pretty cool. So one dwarf warrior unit gets a banner of 50 points, which is pretty good for warriors. They're only 8 points. Great weapons are only 1 point, so they're actually quite a bit cheaper. One thing they've done with the dwarves is they've got rid of that, the march block rule that used to have. Yeah. So you probably heard you've got to buy that now. But you got high leadership, so it's probably not as big a deal. 8 points is pretty good, and great weapons. They used to be.
What's the deal with the drilled stuff though? Because some of them are drilled, which means you can reform and then just triple march.
Yeah,
Did you make use of that?
That is the drill rule. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right,
so that's what you got to buy for one point.
So that's the relentless.
Is that the march blocking one or the relentless one? I'm confused. Wasn't there a rule?
So drilled should be the march. Yeah, that's drilled. I thought.
Oh, is it? I thought one of them was. I can't remember what it's called because I don't know yet. But like there is. You pay to get that drilled, and I thought it was a free reform or something. And then
it could be a free reform,
which means you can probably get them into or start them in triple march, like marching column, triple march them, and swift like straight away just reform them into combat order, whatever is it called? Combat order. Combat.
Yeah. I'll have to reread that. I actually skimmed through drilled, and I thought it was just the old.
Like that, but only through from what I've been listening to. I haven't actually looked at it in detail. But
because that would be
my army
definitely
can't
worth
march,
it.
so I haven't really bothered looking at it anyway. But
well, this is the problem I was probably going to adhere to. Get into later was the dwarves have sort of retained their lack of speed. Unfortunately. I'll keep going. So Quarrelers and Thunderers. Quarrelers come in at 9 points, Thunderers come at 10 points, which is a bit of a big discount as well. The only problem is that they're now weapon skill 3, so they've lost a weapon skill. Both can take great weapons, so Thunderers can take great weapons now, which is good. It used to only be the Quarrelers. And they can move and shoot. But it's a -2 to hit. So
right.
Yeah. But
so the weapon skill 3, ballistic skill
3.
3 as well. Okay.
Yeah. So they're not. It's one of these things. If you're getting that standard shoot bonus that you were talking about, as part of, I haven't actually read that rule. Gomo, we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
So
so that's when you get charged, you stand and shoot is included in your combat res.
Yeah. Which is quite a big deal for a unit that is quite able to take on. It's a semi-combat unit. Like, it's not the greatest combat unit, but if you've got a semi-combat unit,
is there any and I'm assuming it's the same for the detachments, although obviously don't quote me on it, but I don't know if dwarves can have detachments, but for what armies that can, that's pretty cool to have. Because obviously, if you're getting charges and you're a missile unit, you're probably going to get killed anyway. You're not really a combat heavy dudes. But if you've got detachment shooting and then they're adding 2 or 3 shots in onto combat res, it's pretty cool.
Well, that's why dwarves and like Quarrelers and Thunderers used to be pretty good, because they were like a little shitty unit.
Tough 4 and and
then they used to just turn into like a dwarf warrior basically. Whereas now they've lost that weapon skill, so they're not as effective.
But they're dropped in points because of it, did you say?
Yeah, they have dropped in points, but they've got that drilled rule that's actually you got to buy as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So drilled, by the way, I found it. It's both. They're both right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
sweet.
you can perform a free readjust ranks maneuver immediately before moving, and you also ignore an enemy within 8 inches.
So when can you do the reform?
You do the free readjust ranks maneuver immediately before moving.
Oh, okay.
And then you move as normal.
Yeah.
And then in addition, a drilled unit can march whilst within 8 inches of an enemy unit without having a second leadership check.
You can't sort of deploy in march column, go 3.
No, it sounds like
do it.
It's yeah.
Oh,
it's before you move.
Before moving. Like what does that mean? Can I reform before? Oh no, before moving. So I have to declare a charge. Like can I declare a charge, and then in my movement phase, when do you move charges? It's in movement, isn't it? So therefore, can you declare the charge at the beginning and then do your reform and charge? Does that? Oh, I guess we don't know because we don't have the book.
It's
hard to know.
Into that part. Yeah.
I found the special rule. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Too many questions.
Someone will comment and know what it is. But
somebody will know.
To look at some more videos. Yeah.
But you could at least move them up enough where you're like, you could just have one big.
And let's be honest, a triple march for a dwarf is still a 9.
Yeah.
So.
But then reform everything before your next movement phase, and at least you're further. At least 3 inches.
Yeah, but
dwarves take every inch we can get.
Certainly helps though. Like those. I mean, I haven't looked through the scenarios, but for those ones where you're trying to get somewhere and you're not really worried about combat, being able to move 9 to get there, rather than 6. Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. So cracking on. Longbeards, they're coming in at 12 points. 0-1 with the king. Otherwise, they're coming at special. That's his core. Would be up to 1 with the king. They're pretty much unchanged. Longbeards, they got all the same. The old Grumblers rules chain. It's called something else, but it makes people immune to panic within 6 inches. The Rangers, 11 points, which is pretty good, I thought. Coming in as core. Scout and Skirmish. You don't get skirmishing dwarves, so that's fantastic. And they've got like the move through cover. So these are like the guys that can actually, you could throw them in a wood, and I dare say they would go pretty decent in a wood. I can see being, you can give them great weapons. You can do all that stuff. I just think they're a really good unit for 11 points, and you can take it as core. One of these. So I'm loving that.
And what did you say it was, though? 0-1?
Yeah, 0-1 is core. Otherwise, they're coming in at rare.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you could still have few units of them, really. Just using 100%. Rare up to do it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the rare slot for me, it's not. I'll hit it, but it's got it right. Sometimes like rares, it's like, Miners, they got exactly the same stuff. So they got Ambush and Vanguard coming at 12 points. They can take like your different weapon options. I don't mind Miners. I just don't use them because I don't know, just ambushes sometimes, like, they just don't come on always when you want them.
Yeah.
Can be a little bit unreliable.
It's different now, isn't it? Because it's a leadership test, is it? Well,
I haven't looked at the ambush rule. I'm just going off older editions.
If find it.
I can find it. All right.
If it's
I might be getting confused because the Tomb Kings have a slightly different rule. So maybe I'm getting confused.
That would be obviously a lot better. Be terrible for Beastmen, obviously. Anyway, I'll keep going as Josh is trolling through
I think it's 4+, and it's each turn.
The dark web.
And then on the 5th turn, they come on.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway.
Or they get lost. Yep. I thought they got lost or something. Anyway. Slayers, they're coming in at 12 points. Still not fantastic. The only thing I do like about Slayers, especially with Dwarves, you can put them on a flank and you don't have to worry as much about getting a flank charge from cavalry.
With Unbreakable, maybe you're just about to go into this, or whatever they are, do they not move at all when they lose? Like, is there any, how in this edition that's going to be a lot of pushbacks and stuff. But if you're Unbreakable, do you literally do not move? Because if that's the case, some of these units that are like that might be actually quite interesting because everyone else is getting pushed around and they're not. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked at the rule, but I'm just wondering.
Well, these are the rules. I haven't actually looked up the second party rules. I've basically only been trolling through and using a reference from the special rules of 8th and 6th, which could be totally off, obviously. But yeah, just their stat line themselves. The one thing I do think is good for Slayers is they can be a launch pad for your Demon and Dragon Slayers. Because obviously you don't want to leave them out in the open to get shot and magicked off. Hammerers, obviously 0 to 1 for your...
These guys are good, aren't they? I heard people are raving about them.
Yeah, they're not too bad. So they're coming at 16 points. They've got 1 attack. So when they get charged, they're +1 attack, +1 initiative, which takes them up to initiative 4. They're +2 strength, +2 armor bane. Armor piercing, and armor bane 2. So on a 6, you're going to be -4.
4, yeah.
And armor piercing's obviously pretty hard to. Obviously the saves seem like they're a lot less, and obviously armor piercing's harder to come by. So
So I just say Unbreakable. You do give ground still.
Okay, you give ground. Yeah, sweet. And then it's not a great weapon, so it's not strike last. And there are runic items that give you ways of negating charging benefits for the charger who's charging you.
Right.
So you could see hammers getting charged and possibly not taking a hell of a lot of punishment from the charging unit, particularly cavalry, obviously. I'm pointing the finger at you. And chariots. So they negate basically the charging benefits of weapons and things like that. One of the runes.
Wow.
Which is,
when it says charging benefits, is that like the strength stuff or even the initiative? Is that what you mean?
I can tell you if you really
Because you get up to +3 initiative.
Yeah. I'll keep
that would
going.
be interesting. That's where you charge in. I mean, they're still going to be initiative 2 dwarves, though, aren't they? Whatever.
So when you get charged, it's +1 initiative, and I'm pretty sure they are initiative 3 base. So I'm pretty sure you go up to initiative 3. I've got it with me right here. Talisman standard. Yeah, so Master Rune of Hesitation, 45 points. An enemy unit that charges the front arc of a unit carrying a standard inscribed with the unit hesitation does not count as having charged for the purposes of choosing which weapons to use or using any special rules it may have.
That doesn't really answer my question whether or not they get up to +3 initiative, because it's not a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a special rule they have, it's an actual rule of the game. I don't know.
No. Yeah, so I think you still get the initiative. But your lance probably won't be a lance anymore.
Yeah.
Which is going to make you a lot less
I mean, that's
killing
cav. Yeah, you're not going to charge into that with cavalry.
Yeah. And then if you got your Grommel armor with your full plate armor or whatever they've got, I believe it's full plate, you're going to have a pretty good save So
4 up. It's just straight 4 up then, is it? 4 up save.
Yeah. 4 up with your re-rolling ones.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Oh man, I'm going to be playing dwarves a bit, aren't I? Against dwarves for it.
Well, hopefully we'll see. So Ironbreakers, they're coming at 15 points. So these guys are really good. I love the Ironbreakers. So they got a 3 up save. They're obviously re-rolling their ones with the Gromwell armor. They got a 6 up ward against non-magical attacks. So they're pretty tanky. Yep. I'll just keep going because obviously this is starting to blow out. So your Iron Drakes, they're coming at 15 points. They're lost a weapon skill, but they've gained a ballistic skill. So they're weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4. They're not too bad. So they got a 4 up save, 5 up ward against flaming. The dragon, it's pretty much the same thing. So it's
okay. That's pretty short. What's the range on that thing?
18 inches, strength 3, quick shot, armor piercing 1, armor bane 2, but the troll hammer torpedo as well, it's pretty good. So 24-inch range for your champ, strength 8, AP 3, D3 wounds.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a mini bolt thrower. Your gyrocopter, these things.
Is this where you talk about the gyrocopter list?
Yeah. So it's getting around because you can have 6.
You know about this, Josh, or you haven't?
No.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
so the game's broken, Josh. We have to quit playing right now.
Yeah, we can't play anymore
because it's broken. That's what everyone's saying.
How can you have a gyrocopter list?
Just there's.
What are you talking about?
There's not like
There's no cap on gyrocopters.
Yeah,
up to special.
Yeah.
So 50% of your army can be
50% of your army.
Oh, they're there in special. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
and then gyro bombers are in rare, so you can have like this gyrocopter, gyro bomber.
That's like 18 gyrocopters and bombers or something. I don't know.
Flying
Whatever it was,
around.
15 or something. I don't know how many.
Yeah,
It's just destroying your day. But they're 60 points, so for 60
ridiculous.
points, these things are cheap.
Yeah.
You got Vanguard, Swift Strike. So the Steam Gun again, it's got the template, Strength 3, AP 1. You've got Brimstone and a Clatter Gun. So 2 different options. One's a bit more, pumps out more shots, but it's like less strength. So it's like Strength 4, but that's quick to fire, so you can like march and fire. And then there's a Strength 5 version, which is like D3 plus 1. So it depends on what you want to do. You've got a dive bomb, so when you go over a unit, you can do this once. D6, Strength 3 hits with like -1 AP. Gyro Bomber, it's 95 points. And then I don't like the Gyro Bomber because like when you go over something, you got to roll the dice, and then like 1, you take a wound. 2, it's like a dud, and it like just kills one guy.
Is one of them like 2 templates and they both scatter, or is that a different weapon?
Yeah. So with the Gyro Bomber, it's I think it's 1, 2. Yeah. So 3 to 4 is the 5-inch template, which scatters D6, and then the 5 and 6 is 2 3-inch templates, which scatter D6 as well.
Right.
So yeah, they're pretty good, but I mean, like you've got a 1 in 3 chance of doing nothing to some extent. I just don't like the reliability, but we'll see what happens there. And yeah, the War Machines. I won't get into the War Machines because the War Machine's pretty unchanged.
No, I just shared the Warhammer story. Gyrocopter's out of stock.
Out of stock.
That's funny. Sorry.
That's not Australian dollars, is it? For 60? That couldn't be.
No, I don't know. Can't remember.
No, it could be.
It's AU
it is.
URL at the top.
Yeah, it does. ENAU. Yeah.
What's 18?
Isn't that crazy 60? Though? You just said, "Is that 60?" Like, and you meant that cheap, didn't you?
Yeah. I did.
That's what's so funny. Anyway, sorry. I'll keep going. I just wanted to check while you were talking, Andrew, and I went, I wonder if they're out of stock.
No,
they're out of stock.
That's it. I didn't want to get into War Machines because it was like,
I don't know. They might have been out of stock before it came out. It's probably not related. But who knows?
Yeah, quite possibly.
It's interesting that the gyrocopters are all monstrous cav. Like that is crazy, isn't it? You could have a unit of them. That's pretty intimidating, especially if you're doing a dive bomb run with like 3 of them. That's
they got
3
like
D6.
impact hits and
there's going to be some dumb stuff like this, and it'll get adjusted. It'll be right. I don't know.
I don't think you'll have armies of 18 of them, but you could totally use it where instead of it being a single redirector, which is classically as it's been, you could actually have a fairly intimidating unit. of 3 or 6 of them. Pretty much like they're a monstrous cav unit, like any other kind of monstrous cav, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
But they got fly 9.
And they
fly and they
bombs
fire
and
and flee
flame,
and they're
throwing out
bombing
free flame
everything.
templates, killing things. I mean,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's just,
it's a bit scary.
Yeah, that's what I thought. For 60 points with that flame template, like that's you're going to be doing some damage,
especially against elves. Hey, like and humans. Yeah,
so all up, play style. I feel a lot hasn't changed, but I feel like they are trying to.
Sorry, I just screwed you around. What was in rare? The bomber, the organ gun.
Oh, the bomber, the organ gun,
Rangers
and
as
the rangers.
well.
The rangers, and the flame cannon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, but yeah, I just like from a playing perspective, it just I like where they're going in a sense that it seems. I hope they do seem to get a bit more combat orientated. It's going to be hard to see until the Arcane Journal comes out. But yeah, it looks, obviously that I don't know, the shootings. It's almost like the ranges are like good, if you know what I mean. And then like, so it's almost like they are trying to get you to sort of get out. Yeah, we'll see how we play. And a lot of people seem like they are dusting off dwarves. So I think they're going to be quite popular.
That's the other thing. I mean, we won't know, but with the 9 factions, I guess I would imagine over time the 9 factions will become more popular than not, just because they're the ones getting new rules, at least in the first couple of years. And because of that, there's going to be less variety. So, I don't know if things are going to be more popular. They just might be more prevalent because there's less options. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'll see dwarves more often, but you'll probably also see chaos more often and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think they will be there. You're right. I mean, they're classic armies. They've been in starter sets. They've got heaps of different third-party models, which is a whole different topic. And they're
you get more variety in this, hopefully. Well, theory, unless there's obviously a much stronger particular list available. But hopefully the Arcane Journals are fairly well internally balanced with them like grand armies, and you can have it just opens up lots of different theme lists in the way it has with sixth edition.
So you're obviously keen about them, like that's they're looking. You're just still concerned that they might be a bit shooty, but they're always probably going to be a bit shooty. But
I'm not overly concerned, but I just that vibe is definitely, I feel, pushing them to be more combat, less shooty orientated. We'll see what happens in that realm, but
cool.
I mean, there's still the options there to castle up for sure.
Yeah. What did you find in the Bretts, Josh? I mean, mine is nowhere as in depth as that, so they'd probably be quicker.
Neither is mine, by the way. Both
and sorry, I am yawning a bit, but that's because I did karaoke Saturday night to midnight, and then me and Andrew played till midnight. Yeah. And I'm always up to midnight when I'm podcasting, so it's 3 nights of midnight.
Sorry, I'm just opening a window here.
Andrew's talking. My alarm goes off at 5, so anyway.
Well, I wasn't really going to go unit by unit. I was just going to grab a few things that looked interesting, that are clear differences from the six ed book, and sort of certain rules that they've given some units and then others not. I do like that squires have their own little unit entry rather than, because they've always been like previously they've just been you can just give the peasant bowman skirmish in the 6th book. I think the 5th book might have had squires, but it's nice that they've got their own one, and you've got a whole bunch of extra options with them, because they've actually got Vanguard with skirmishes and move to recover, but you can give them fire and flee. And you can give them some other special rule that I can't quite read on the PDF. Bizarrely, when I was reading through the Arcane Journal, it says you can have mounted squires in the Crusader army, but there's no mounted option that I can see in the main book. So that may be an option that that's in the Arcane Journal. Because I love squires. I always put them in if I can take them. what was I going to say? I was mainly looking at the knights really, because obviously that's where I'm most interested in, and the way they've structured the differences between the errants, the knights of the realm, the questing, and the grails. It is kind of interesting because like the errant knights have dropped a point. I think they were 20 points in the 6th ed book, so they've gone down to 19. They still have like an impetuous type rule. They still have like all the normal armor and stuff. They haven't changed anything in that regard. They still come with lances, but they don't have countercharge, which is interesting.
Right. Okay.
Because Knights of the Realm and the Ground Knights have countercharge.
Yeah.
Questing Knights don't have countercharge, and neither do Knights Errant. So it's interesting. So like they are actually even more cheap than the other knights, but you're having some limitations with that as well, which I actually quite like. I quite like because it's kind of like, will you try and take the cheaper knights and then risk being outmaneuvered in that regard, or will you have the safety of the Knights of the Realm, which are 24 points, so they're the same point cost as the 6th ed, but they have an extra bit of weapon skill, they have an extra bit of leadership, so leadership 8 rather than 7, and they have your counter charge buff as well. I think they can take magic standards. Oh no, they can both take magic standards up to 25 points, which is nice. I don't think there's no options for either of those units to have characters with magic items, actually. The questing knights, I'm not sure what to do with, really, because they have dropped in price too. They're like getting down to 26 rather than 28 points. As I said, they don't have countercharge, which is a bit of a concern for me, because they obviously still have great weapons with hand weapons. So great weapons, what they'd be like, initiative 1, isn't it? When
I think they've done
3.
initiative 10 and 1 for the different types. Yeah.
So it's like, they're even when they're charging, they'll be striking in initiative 4, which is that's, and often they won't be charging. If they're being charged, they're not getting counter charge or anything like that. Because they won't be able to use their shields when they combat, so they have an armor of 4 up.
4 up. Okay.
Which,
and then a 6 up, say, ward.
Yeah, 6 up armor. So they're relatively squishy at that point when you're dropping the armor so much. I mean, the difference between like they were going
and
from
I heard
2
they're quite pricey as well to buy.
Oh, in terms of money.
Sorry. Sorry, keep going.
Oh man, yeah, they are, guys. She's gone to bed now, so I can talk more freely. So much money on rare questing nights.
Sorry, so you were talking about squishy knights there. Yep.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was sort of saying that it's weird because all the knights have gone down to 3 up saves. So in theory, the drop between 3 up and 4 up shouldn't hurt as much as the drop between 2 up and 3 up in a way. Because but the difference between a 2 up and a 3 up, you're failing twice as many wounds. Whereas statistically, the 3 up to 4 up
third or whatever it is
doesn't hurt as much. But it's still like, if you're not striking first and you're charging in, it's
tough. What are they toughness? Are they just 3?
Tough 3. Tough 3. They're strength 4, so they're strength 6 with a great weapon. But it's kind of like, if they're not striking first, you'll be obliged to use the hand weapon and shield to make sure that there's enough striking back almost.
Do they end up being a different unit in the sense that they're going to be like a supportive unit where you're going in with some other cap, like charging in and then coming in from the sides and stuff, so they're not getting that volume of attacks anyway back at them?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, they haven't given them any other special rules. Like, they're not like weird skirmishes or or like move through cover or anything like that. But that may be the rule they have to have. They can have a standard up to 100 points, and the champ in that unit can take a virtue. So maybe there's a way of buffing the unit to give it more versatility. I mean, unfortunately, it's got to be in the context of the rest of the virtues, which I don't think I've been able to see what the virtues are. Are they the cavalry
unit that makes sense to charge into or get charged from the hammerers? I don't know. In the sense that, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, the hammers are probably absolutely
wipe them off.
Like a bunch of them before they get to strike. So
wouldn't do
I
that.
don't know. It's hard. It's hard to know where they sit. Like it's always the question is that when you got four different knight units, making sure they're all viable. It's hard. I'm really hoping they are my favorite unit, and that's why I spend so much money on buying individual ones.
Redacted,
but
ultra rare.
But so I'm hoping they'll benefit, and they have dropped them by 2 points, which so they're only 2 points more than Knights of the Realm. Whereas the Ground Knights, obviously we've been through this already because the Ground Knights, we got a big sheet of this back with the Almanac. So 38 points, same points. Weapon skill. Oh, they're weapon skill 6. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, so questing is actually weapon skill 5. So that must be really. They've really pulled out the weapon skill ranges, haven't they, for all these guys?
Yeah.
So the Ground Knights have got they've got all the stuff going on, counter charge, and they're tough 4, and they've got 2 attacks each, and I don't think I've ever taken a Bretonnian list without a unit of Ground Knights. I just love having Ground Knights.
They're 0 to 1 rare. You can't take more than one.
I think that's the case. I don't have the I don't know where the thing is. I'm pretty sure they are 0-1, but I don't actually know for 100%. The Peg Knights are also a bit different because they've got Furious Charge, which gives them extra attack, so they're actually quite they can be a bit more scary.
How far and what fly are they?
Fly 10.
Like 10. Oh, wow.
Fly 10.
Oh, wow. Cool.
They've got counter charge as well.
Yeah. They weren't too shabby before either.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they did benefit a lot from some of the special rules, like the fact in 6th edition, skirmishers had 360-degree line of sight and could charge in any direction. So Pegasus Knights really benefited from that a lot.
And
there's still skirmishers in this game, but I'm not sure how skirmish works actually. Actually, is there a 360 line of sight for skirmishers in?
I'm still learning the difference. I know that Open Order does the pivot, and Skirmish can do more than that. Well, Skirmish probably has pivot. Oh, I don't know actually, but they don't do the rank.
The special rules.
Yeah, fair enough. Otherwise, I mean, that was most of it from the book. Like the Mad Yeomen are very similar. Like they haven't changed that much. They're still. They are skirmish now, and they have fire and flee as base, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I can briefly mention the Arcane Journal list though, because those are quite different actually. Because I've only just really looked through it today, really. But the Errantry Crusade does look fun. I mean, they both look fun, and I must admit, I'm really torn about what to do. Because in Errantry Crusade, like. The Erin and Knights of the Realm are core. The foot and mounted squires are in core as well. So I'm really intrigued what the mounted squires look like.
Yeah.
Because mounted yeomen, which are probably one of my favorite units in Bretonnia, in that they're so useful for redirection and stuff, they're actually in rare in Errantry Crusades. So I'm going to be relying on mounted squires, I reckon, for that role. And then the mercenaries, which it's your point, Colin. I don't know how this works, but mercenaries, it says 25% you can use Empire Knights or Inner Circle Knights as mercenaries for your Errantry Crusades list.
Also, mercenaries, not allies.
Yes,
I don't know. Like that's just in the video I've been looking at. They've labelled it as mercenaries. So
hopefully, people who've done more video listening can maybe let us know in the comments because I'm still confused between those two, and I saw some of them today mentioning that they didn't know either. So maybe it's not all out. I mean, it must be. People have got the rule books, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because then there's the Errantry Crusade does have special rules where, like, instead of Knight's Vow, you get like what's called Crusader's Zeal, which increases your charge range and your charge dice rolling, I think, as well. Which means that I feel like Knights Errant become more viable in this kind of list because even though you don't have counter charge, if you're able to charge longer distances, it sort of compensates for that weakness more. And you've also got little buffs like Knights Errant get rerolls to 1 with the near a Lord or a Grail Vow model, or stuff like that. So I'm like,
rerolls for 1 for what? Like everything, or
I imagine it's in combat. I assume it's a hit or to rune or both of those. Again, this is partial information that I'm finding. The Exiles list is so different as well, and I also really want to play with this too, because
it looks cool though.
Looks so cool.
Like
you were showing me the Outcast Wizard thing. I hadn't seen that.
Screenshot. Yeah.
Of the Outcast Wizards. What was it? It was, I saw Necromancy on there.
Necromancy, Demonology.
I saw Necromancy and I stopped reading. Like, I was like, what? Necromancy? How could that be? Also, Demonology was, oh my god.
But Empire have access to that generally, I think, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, Bretonnians have had access to that.
Yeah.
Not Necromancy, but...
That's really crazy. I wouldn't know what to do with myself with that kind of stuff. And I think if the Outcast Wizard miscast, I think he has to roll an extra dice and take the highest or something, like the 2 highest dice.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're more likely to
blow up.
Really bad. Yeah, blow ups.
Yeah.
They have the Exiles do have, so the Brigands apparently are quite a versatile unit, because I thought they might just be handguns, but I think you got options for the Brigands that they can take crossbows or pistols.
Oh, cool.
Or hand weapons. So yeah, I'd be keen to put some crossbows in there. I almost be tempted. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I need to have the book, but I would love to do a Bretonnian Exile list that's still refuses to use black powder. So there's no bombard and there's no handguns. And there's crossbows.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think, it'd be fun just to randomly handicap yourself and do something like that. But that's sort of mostly what I wanted to talk about with the Bretts. Like, I'm really intrigued to see how it plays on the table. I do like playing lots of errant knights, and the fact that they have dropped further in price, but they've got some limitations, is really interesting. And I'm keen to see how they actually play.
Yeah, cool. So and there's nothing you really need yet, except for unless you do something like that, like the crossbows and stuff. Like you got the figures now that you've looked.
I actually already have Bretonnian themed crossbowmen I got for like 9th Age or for Warhammer Armies Project lists when back, because I think they had crossbows as an option then. So I sort of have those. I'm not sure if I use them or not. I never painted them. I just had them based up, and I might revisit that whole thing. I'm not sure. But yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I mean, I looked at Tomb Kings, and when I say looked at, I've just been watching a few videos, but then never right through because I've been doing other stuff. So then today I did look a little bit more. I guess one thing I don't know, like obviously the dragon and stuff, the new models, I think I haven't gone right in depth with all that, but I think that's obviously going to be one of the bigger questions and things people are going to have to start thinking about, like especially do I put my Leech Priest on that thing, or the way that just the amount of wounds and toughness you get on it. So I probably won't talk about that one because I haven't even looked at it that much, but obviously having the more fast-moving flying stuff that you can get in the Tomb King army, I think is going to definitely be pretty critical. Overall, I get coming from 6th, and I thought they're actually the magic's been quite fun and different and stuff, and I feel like it's gone back a little bit to the 8th way, which is okay as long as it doesn't be powerless like 8th. So hopefully we see it. Tomb Kings are still pretty powerful. Who knows? In terms of how they work, obviously they've got 6 up regen now across the board. And characters, most of them I think have a 5 up. So at least you're not having to pay for like extra, if that 5 up, because can you even get a 4 up ward much these at the moment? There's not many things that do.
Nah, dwarves you can, but
it's not as prevalent. So I think it's nice to have that just baked in. So then you can spend stuff, points and stuff on other things like other defensive items or whatever attacking ones. Some of the big differences too is, excuse me, they can stand and shoot now. Like they've got rid of that. So that'll be pretty cool because given that you don't have penalties still, like the 5-up, just automatic, like 5-up hits. So, and then going to my other point around detachment use and combat res from your stand and shoot, might give them a little bit more of that survivability, because obviously once you're in combat with undead, it's pretty easy to kill them. The Indomitable's a good rule in the sense that there's more. That's like that stops you, like Indomitable 1, you have to crumble more than 1 to take a wound, and it goes up to some of these. I think Cetra has like Indomitable 3, so you got to like beat him by 3 for him to even take a wound and stuff like that. So they're using that a little bit more. It's not just like the constructs. It's like, characters have it as well.
Yeah.
And then the Herald can add up to, so it doesn't add on to Indomitable, but gives basically plus D3 rather than just the +1 or whatever it was. So, depending on how good you roll, a bubble can have that as well, which is pretty good. So I think there's some good things like that. There's little changes, like the My Will Be Done thing seems less. I like the old one, where like if you put I love 6th edition My Will Be Done in the sense that you got those spells, so that's cool. But in 8th you had the you could give your ballistic skill or weapon skill to the unit you're in, whereas now it's 3 different types of bonuses. So one of them would be, which is probably the one that's going to be interesting, is I think it's plus D3 to your initiative and movement for for a unit, but I think you have to be in it. So this is the whole thing with them. And then another one is just +1 weapon skill or something. And I can't remember what the other one is. So it's a little different. It feels less potent when I read it. Like I don't sit there and go, oh shit, that's so cool. But again, without playing it, it actually might be pretty good. The Leech Priest can do an Arise spell. It's not really a spell. They've just got leadership testing and raise. So I think this is the question. Like if you have one big Leech Priest, or do you have lots of little ones? Because if you could spam out, like if you have 3 or 4 of these dudes that can be raising D6 each back just with a leadership test, they become quite resilient again without even using magic. You can't dispel it. Like it just happens. So that's pretty cool.
Jeez.
So I don't know. Again, I don't know how these all join together or not. Who knows? Scorpions are still good. They're cheaper, 70 points or whatever. The poison, I think that's only 1 attack. You got to buy. You can only have you can choose to use 1 of your attacks as a strikes first poison attack.
The tail.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just as a tail. But the actual claws are all killing blow, but also monster. What's it called? Slayer or something? Is it?
Oh
Monster Slayer.
So I think you're going to see a lot of scorpions too, given that what we just said before, where it's probably monster / hero hammer. Then you can have up to 3, I think, per 1,000. I think you'll see scorpions because
are they just normal ambushes now? They're not like coming out of the sand?
I guess that's the other thing. They're ambushes, which is 4 up. It is 4 up each turn. On turn 5, they come on. But when you have a Leech Priest, they have a rule that they just have to pass a leadership test and they can bring on an ambusher within 12 inches of them.
Oh,
right. So you could fly the dragon over and go, boom, I'll bring up all my scorpions behind you.
Oh, God.
So I think the Tomb Kings are going to be one of these finesse armies again where you got to it's not a beginner army. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that is a good
And I am
rule,
a beginner, so that's, it's not going to be
Imagine that.
You're not a beginner.
No, I know.
But, years.
So that's sounding cool.
Yeah,
they've added all these other stuff. So they've got detachments. You can put archers in skirmish, which allows them to do they're going to be able to pivot and just hit on 5-ups with their. I think they're still going to be pretty shooty if you want to be shooty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, is that like an open order type thing? Is that what you?
They're open order, and you can skirmish. So you can either be in open order and get the pivot, or they can also be skirmish and also get that pivot. So I think they can be fairly turning, move a bit, shoot 5-up, hit on 5s. So you might spam big units of archers still. I don't know. Have you heard of chariot runners? Did you see that rule?
No.
Okay, so chariot.
I heard the phrase, but I don't know more about it.
Yeah, so a chariot runner unit, and that's archers and stuff like that, skirmishes that are there, but your chariots can move through and charge through them. And you can deploy your chariots behind them, so you can't get charged, and then you can just charge straight through your own dudes, and just you just move the other guys out of the way. Even if you land on top of them, it's just basically it's one of those 6th edition. Just move them so they get out of the way. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting.
Have you? Sorry to interrupt. Have you looked into I don't know if you're going to hit this. The heavy cav for the skeleton horseman.
Not really on the skeleton horseman, not in general. I mean, because I think they've still only got like a 5-up save or something, maybe 4-up.
But is there two? Is there 2 variants you can take it? So there's like
there's the archer dudes, the normal, and you can skirmish them as well, and they've got reserve move, which I'll talk about. But yeah, you can do the heavy cav, but they're on the normal 25s by 50s. At the end of the day, they're not really heavy still. Like
they're heavy cav, but they're on 25 by 50s.
Yeah. They haven't changed the base size. Yeah.
So they don't have like a 3-up and a lance.
They got a lance, but they've still got just I swear they might even be 5-up, man. I don't know. They're pretty shit.
Yeah.
Because you don't get the mount, do you? So.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any other heavy cav we've seen that are on 25 by 50s?
No, not that I know.
It's not the only one. That's so bizarre. I thought at least that was a.
I don't think the base has got anything to do with that, like troop type, which is a bit annoying because
it doesn't. But it's just intuitively, if you see something 25 by 50, I feel like you'd assume it's a light cav in this game.
Yeah.
But,
and it might change over editions maybe as they replace figures, because it would be nice to have a standard like that, because then especially now they've got this open order, closed order, and it can be look the same. Like it'd be nice. I don't know. That reserve rule's cool. I think that might be useful as well. Reserve move, where you can move, because I can't march anyway, so you could move 8, shoot, and move. So that's going to be pretty cool. And can chariots do that? I think they can. They can. So chariots can do that as well. So effectively, does that mean they get a march move? Because they can just basically move 8, even if they don't shoot, they can still reserve move in the shooting phase?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because that makes chariots even more maneuverable. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm sure you can find something to shoot.
The Necro Knights are good, like the Necropolis Knights. I think you're gonna see a lot of them and Scorpions, because I think the Necro Knights are, some of the bigger hitters. Got impact hits. They've got decent saves. They've got the Tomb Guard on top, so I think they're looking good. Again, the Necro Sphinx is a flying unit again, so I think it's and it's got killing blow and stuff, so I think that's going to be around. There's an interesting combo with the catapult and casket, I think, where so the catapult's similar how it was, where if you take a wound, you have to take a panic test, but if you get that upgrade, everyone within 2d6 inches is -1 leadership. So not just the unit you hit. It's like if I hit your unit, it's 2d6, and then everyone around it is -1 leadership for the rest of the turn. But then the casket has a shooting attack where you have to take a leadership test. Otherwise, you can get d6 plus 3, strength 6, multiple wound 2, no armor save hits.
Oh, wow. So that sort of combos together?
Yeah, so I wonder if you'd be wanting to shoot the catapult at something and then hit that. And it's a 36-inch range, so because it's obviously at the back of the board. So I don't know. There's a few of these leadership. I think there's a couple of other items or something that can debuff leadership. So I think that there might be some combos in there that I have to dig into.
So it could be one of those really, really good armies, but really hard to play. Like a difficult army, but they play really well.
I think so. That's the thing.
In the right hands.
Because, like your dwarf book, you read through it, and I don't even play dwarves, but you read through it and you go, oh, shit, that thing. Look, what the hell? How am I going to... it's instantly you can see it's good. Whereas this is like, each one of them is like, oh, it's okay. But then you think, oh, but I have to bring this. So I think it's a bit more, sort of
You need that synergy. It's a synergy army sort of thing.
Exactly.
Dwarves are like just the
I haven't looked at the magic stuff. I don't know if you did, Josh, but because I get necromancy, but then there's three signature spells. I haven't really looked too much into them, but I'm assuming you want to take some of them, in terms of the signature ones. The best thing, I guess, with the Arcane Journal, I haven't really gone into the two different lists, but the one that's interesting is that Royal Host with the Tomb Guard chariots. Did you see them? So you put it's basically chariots with Tomb Guard on top. So at least you're getting better combat.
They're killing blow, Tomb Guard?
Yeah. think they still are. Well, they were.
That's nasty.
They're just better, strength 4 and all that sort of stuff. So I think they're. I think you'll see that. And some guy on a Discord did like a couple of breakdowns of like just generic stuff. Like it was like against strengths, toughness 3, light armor, and against toughness 3, heavy armor, and against toughness 4, heavy armor, like dwarves, and against toughness whatever 5. And then he listed the main sort of combat ones, and the ones that were coming out the best were Tomb Guard chariots and Necro Knights. So I think they're, in terms of combat stuff, they're going to be the ones that you'll see potentially. Cetra, though, is pretty cool, but he's 445 points because he ends up being like he's got to be the Hierophant, so, and he can do a rise even though he's technically a Tomb King. But it's basically his weapon skill 7, strength 6, tough 5, 8 wounds, 6 attacks, plus 4 horses, and then he's -1 to hit him for the rest of the game if he causes a wound on you
wounds.
with his strength 6 AP 3 flaming attack weapon.
His attack that is decent for what you're paying. That is decent.
Yeah, well, I just like this minus. So which suffer 1 or more wounds from it are -1 to hit when attacking for the game. I don't know if it's cumulative, but
you'd like to think not.
Yeah, but then obviously
I would like to. Yeah.
Impact hits 2d3, so I like that. Indomitable 3, like I said before. So yeah, he's got to do challenges and all that sort of stuff though. So and his My Will Be Done, which is that plus initiative ones or whatever, that can be done with in a bubble. And then he also, Cetra's Impact hits a flaming magical attacks at AP 2 and can join Tomb Guard chariots. So I wonder if you'll see like Cetra in some Tomb Guard chariots. Be interesting. And I've got him, so I have to paint him up. But I might get different horses
you
for
just
him.
need different horses, yeah.
That is 8 wounds. That is insane.
So pretty crazy. I think the 9 wound one is the Tomb King on the dragon gets 9 wounds. I think that's the biggest we can get, I think. I don't think there's anything toughness 10 though, like you guys had, I don't think. like you can get to.
I only get 6 wounds, so I don't have 9 wounds.
But the fly thing's interesting because I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to find it, but I'm pretty sure you can still do the march stuff with fly. So I think the carrions, all those type of things, and the that Necrosphinx and stuff, they're going to be pretty. It's going to be good to have some stuff that can move around the board pretty fast. I don't know what other notes I had here. So the things I'm a bit sad about is that the Tomb King curse thing's just crap. Now it's D3 strength 2 AP dash hits if you fail your leadership test. Like
when he dies,
strength 2 AP dash.
Because wasn't it like D6 automatic wounds or something?
Yeah, with no save.
With no save
of any kind.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Surely it goes off so rarely that I don't know why they nerfed it so much. But anyway. And the Stalker's Gaze seems a bit crap, but maybe it's not. I don't know. It's one of these strength 2 hits against your initiative, though, not your toughness. 18-inch, but no save. So I don't know. Like these low strength hits, I don't know if they're going to be that good, especially when they're not, it's not 3d6 version of them or something. So,
And most of the stuff that's going to kill you, you think, is going to be a high toughness sort of,
and high initiative because it's probably attacked you to do it. I don't know. So I wouldn't say I'm jumping over the moon with it, but at the same time, I haven't played Tomb Kings with all the bigger stuff because I didn't. I think I played it in 9th in the first version, and they were pretty good. I didn't mind them, but I've never played it in 8th. So, it's going to be fun to see what the Necronites and the Sphinxes do, and having those guys plus the new dragon. It's totally going to change, and still chariots. Like I think chariots are definitely going to be in there. A lot more choices than say what 6th has, because 6th you basically you fiddle with stuff and then you come back to go, I should just have chariots. Like,
pretty much.
Whereas I think there's heaps more, obviously, to choose from. So, yeah. Oh, and scorpions, obviously. But, yeah. Anyway, that's what I've come up with so far. But, I mean, it's still very, very early days. So
That sounds pretty cool. Like, I think there's, like you said, some really good options there. Like, if you can get a dragon and get in somebody's flank or, and then you start popping down bloody scorpions.
Yeah. Just the way that, like, even like the lack of damage from cannons and stuff, I think I think you might put your leech priest on the dragon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he's your hierophant, you're like, well, he's he's pretty tanky and he can get away from danger if he has to. I don't know. So it's an option. Yeah. Whereas you would never do that in 8th,
No.
So
no, it's too much of a target. But
and you've got that
the combined profile.
You know how like cannonballs can't bounce through behemoths and stuff, and bolt throwers and stuff, whatever it is. So you can like protect some of the big ones by putting another one in front of them.
Because we have these rules, you're just like mentioning them. I'm like, huh? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something like, so, you could put a Sphinx in front of him first turn. So if, Andrew's got his cannons.
Yeah.
Even if he hits my Sphinx, he can't kill him in one go. And he's also not bouncing through to my general or whatever. Yeah. So.
Right. Sphinx body wall.
Yes. Bodyguard. Whatever it is. Yeah. Cool. I don't know, guys. Is there anything else on our sheet there that or anything else sort of old world related you want to? Oh, just quickly, points.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you reckon we're settling? Like, does it sounding like 2,000 points is the goer, or we don't know yet? We don't know yet, I guess. But...
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Surely
the 199 is intriguing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I suspect we may end up leaning towards that more.
I think there'll be a few that run it that way initially. Hey, just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And just for those who didn't pick up on that, it's because of those those slots, which I really like what they've done between the percentages and slots. I think mixing that stuff's interesting. Obviously, you still need to question if they got it right in terms of which ones have slots or not, like gyrocopters.
Yeah.
But assuming you've got that, then you can just go, well, rather than 2,000, I'll drop it to 1,999, and then that just has disabled those. For example, you can't bring the Duke then, could you?
I think you can.
No, you can. Sorry,
just not a second lord.
Not a second lord. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
I don't think.
Yeah, you can always have one Duke. Yeah.
Or maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But it does certainly limit a lot of things in that regard. I wonder if it may end up playing even smaller points. I don't know.
I'm interested to play.
1750. Yeah, 750 or 1500 or something like that. Because the bigger these armies get, the harder it is to get it done in 2.5 hours as well. And especially if combats are going to be, and then also if combats are going to be prolonged, where it takes longer for units to be removed from the table. It potentially might make the game a longer process to play through, and we may find that we do need to reduce the size of the armies just to make sure.
I did see one. I wouldn't say complaint, but someone said it can be a bit grindy, and that could just also be people learning and just sort of just smashing into each other and then stuck there rather than sort of maybe doing something a bit different. But who knows?
No, until we play it ourselves, I know. What was the other one? Oh, the table size. You think you're going to be doing a 60 by 44?
Talking about this.
I don't know. I haven't seen the full shots of that, but people were then coming back saying no, it is still recommended 6x4. It's just the minimum recommendation was 60 by whatever it was, the 5 foot by whatever it is.
Do you think they had to put that into the rule book just to appease the people that wanted everything to be aligned with AOS and 40k?
Yes and no. I think there might be, it could be logistical in the sense. I mean, I was at Warhammer World, but I never looked and measured the tables because I'm wondering if they've adjusted them to get more in anyway as well, and they're not 6x4s that say, for example, at Warhammer World. I can't remember because I didn't play a game there, so.
Right. Oh, that's right. You were there earlier last year.
Yeah, it sucks. I wish I'd done. Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was a wedding, so I had to go. But it'd be good to go this year instead. Now that it's out, but
should have told them to postpone their wedding to this year.
I know. So they had two of them. They could have chosen one to be a year later. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Because I mean, I feel like the base sizes are going up a lot as well. Like it's a good 20-25% increase in base size. That's going to make 60 by 44s feel
very cramped.
Like I was doing some maths, and I was like, it's going to feel like a 4x3 table almost. Once you've got
and you know what I was saying to
20% more space.
Andrew yesterday. I mean, you got to buy a new. I had to buy another. Well, it wasn't for this specifically, but I bought another display cabinet because once you rebase, they're too big for the cabinet they're in. They're going to start bleeding into different cabinets and stuff. So.
That's the good
Games
thing
Workshop can have to bring out a display cabinet now for $10,000 for a rebadged IKEA.
Don't give them any more ideas.
If you have them on adapter trays, you can take them off to put them in there. You don't have to buy a whole new display cabinet.
You know what? It's getting late, so I probably shouldn't go on tangent. But the amount of comments I've heard from, I would have thought, fairly well and long-standing players who are mostly 40k players now, obviously, who have made comments about terrain and Warhammer Fantasy and that, for example, it was annoying to use the Realm of Battle boards because everything slipped and all the models fell off the movement trays and all that. I'm like, how were you not using magnets? Like what? I don't get it. And then I'm thinking, is it just me? I don't know. But like to me, the model's not even ready for painting until it's got a magnet on its thumb and it's it's connected to a magnetic movement tray. I'm not even touching it paint yet. How do people?
We learned that through hard experience of models falling everywhere.
So I'm just it's one of the things they bring up as being a bit of an issue. I'm like, it's not an issue. It's magnets. It never was an issue. I just don't understand.
If that's what your problem is,
But anyway,
sure.
It's 40k people not used to it. They're used to moving every single figure and just putting them back in a thing. And I'm like, it's on a movement tray. Just put it back I put the movement tray in the box, and when I get home, I put that back in the display cabinet. It's just all magnetized.
For sure.
Anyway.
So much easier than individually packing each miniature between games in the foam box.
Bugger that.
I used to do that. That was very painstaking.
Well, and you have to when you travel a bit too. You would have on that time when you're flying, or have you even now? Do they sort of sit?
Yep. They're all. What I did was I magnetized the movement trays to the magnetic sheet
and
on
then
the bottom
just
of the
put
box.
stuff around it.
And then I filled the whole box with packing foam.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That works. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Just meant I had to slowly pick out all the peanuts when I got there.
Yeah.
But, that worked, because I just couldn't, I couldn't go back to the days of pulling it out slowly.
Nah,
Even then, it didn't really necessarily prevent breakage.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, that's another episode then, guys, is it? Or
yeah, I think so.
Anything else
so. I was going to talk a little bit about multiplayer type things, but I think I might do that next week. I've got some thoughts about it might work not that well.
Intriguing.
I might put out a call out for this, and other people can definitely, our listeners can contribute, because we're unfortunately on the other side, we're underneath everyone down here in Australia. We're not getting we won't all have our hands on the rule books. We have this 3-week window where we want to be relevant, but we're doing our best. So if we've got other options to chat about, and that's one of them for sure, Josh, if you want. We'll talk about some things that are a bit more greenfield and not, so to speak, just, straight up what's the latest news in Old World, you know what I mean? So
for sure. I mean, it's next week we'll be
probably
doing CanCon lists and stuff anyway. We'll be on going back into the 6th edition tunnel for a few weeks before we emerge again with our rule books finally.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully our listeners will hang on for the ride, even if they're only out here for Old World. I'm sure they'll appreciate, our banter and what we get up to in CanCon. And I don't know.
There's been lots of interesting lists coming for 6th CanCon, so it'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah,
we've got the premier event of Australia. So it's premier fantasy.
I was thinking it's probably the last 6th edition tournament that's going to get a large amount of people coming through. You're right. 60 plus people. I'm not sure that's going to happen again.
No,
what comes out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. You know what's crazy though? Like the amount of people, like our Facebook group has gone from what I don't know, was it a couple of hundred, now it's at nearly 600.
Yeah,
and every week I've got a post that goes out saying like, the new members this week, just introduce yourself and stuff. And I don't know, I haven't, there's too many comments to go through them all, but when I read them and skim them, they're mostly people that are coming back from either they haven't never played it or they're coming back from like really old editions. There's always, the people we know who have played, 6th or 7th and 8th, but there's a lot of people who left in 6th or left in 5th and it's just like, wow, like, yes. And you add them in to the scene. You know how CanCon hit 200 or whatever it was years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm calling it now that 200 is going to easy get hit.
Ooh. Imagine trying to TO that.
Easy next January. And the thing is, I might not even be here for CanCon next year. I might be going around the world. I don't know.
Giving Josh an anxiety attack.
But I don't know. Even in Australia, I reckon it could hit that easy with the amount of interest for that first year. I don't know if it'll keep up, but
yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I suspect it's going to suck a few
40K
Sigma
and AOS people.
Looking at the photos on Facebook, I'm seeing people rebasing back from circles to squares again.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying those games are going to suffer long term, but I think short term there's going to be these people jumping over to give it a go at a competitive level, and they're not going to then stay in the other scene while they're trying to do that because they're the type of people who want to go to the top, so they're going to dedicate some time to it. So
good for years.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So
let's shout out the patrons and then so we got 8. We've still got Jared here. He's here. We got Jared. Thanks, Todd and Sean and Gunwich.
Shauna.
And then Bobby Gherkin. I don't even know that's such a cool name. Andrew McAllister, thank you. And then there's another cool name, Juicy Sausage. That's an awesome name. And Robert,
food related.
I think he's from Hong Kong or something. So yeah, Robert. Is it Z? How do you say that? Last. Yeah, can't. I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's just Rob. I'll call him Rob. So
Rob.
Yeah.
I don't have the list in front of me.
So that's 8 Patreons. Thanks for that. Cheers, obviously those guys are supporting us. You can support us as well by liking us and sharing us on all your socials and your podcast software listening device of choice, obviously. And if you do leave us a 5-star rating, if you can actually leave us a review too, because I guess if we start doing that, we could actually read them out too. That'd be funny. But yeah, we're getting some good comments on our Facebook groups and our Facebook page on there. So just, you'll meet us on there. Check out our YouTube channel because that's where we'll post this as well as our battle reports. And especially when we're at CanCon next week, I think we'll try and do a few little ad hoc ones as well. That'll be pretty fun. Thanks for listening, guys. And Josh and Andrew, mate, thanks for coming on again. And
thank you.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Absolutely.
All right,
bye.
See ya.
Ciao.